All right, so we're diving into wholesale merchant interviews today, specifically in clothing and footwear. And we've got some seriously awesome insights from RoleCatcher to help you, really nail
Oh,
this.
yeah, it's a competitive field for sure. You're basically the link between the hottest brands out there and like the stores where people are actually buying their clothes and shoes.
Yeah, it's high energy, it's fast-paced. You get to see all those trends firsthand. Before we even get into those tricky interview questions, let's back up for a second, talk RoleCatcher, for anyone who's not familiar.
So roll catcher, I mean, it's like having a secret weapon in your back pocket, especially when you're applying for a job like this.
Yeah, how so?
Well, it uses AI to analyze that job description, the one you're looking at, and then it pulls out like the must-have skills and gives you personalized feedback on your CV.
Oh, okay. So it's like making sure you're highlighting all the right stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So you're not just guessing. You're not throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks.
That's so smart. What about interview prep, though?
Oh, they got you covered there too. You can practice your answers. Their AI gives you feedback. They even have like video practice so you can see yourself in action.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. So much better than just practicing in the mirror.
Right.
Okay, so you've got the tools. But even with the best tools, we got to have a solid understanding of the career itself. What are some things someone should know about the world of wholesale merchandising before they even step into that interview?
Okay, well, first of all, the perks. Imagine working with like the top clothing and footwear brands.
Yeah.
Maybe even jetting off to industry events. It's not all just like spreadsheets and logistics.
Right, I was going to say, it sounds kind of glamorous.
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement, there's creativity involved.
But
But
there's always a but.
yeah, you got to be ready for the long hours, the tight deadlines, the pressure of staying ahead of the trends.
Especially in fashion.
Yeah, think of it like surfing. You're constantly riding that wave, adapting to the market, making quick decisions.
Yeah, you need to be passionate, you need to be adaptable,
Yeah,
and you probably need a serious caffeine addiction.
pretty much. But seriously, though, if you thrive in a fast-paced environment and you love fashion,
This could be your dream job.
this could be your dream job.
All right, I'm pumped. Let's dive into those interview questions. RoleCatcher provided some great examples, and they start with a pretty simple one. How did you get started in the wholesale industry?
Okay, so this is your chance to tell your story, not just recite your resume.
Right.
Like, what sparked your interest in this specific niche? Was there a defining moment that made you realize this was the path for you?
So it's about finding that personal connection.
Yeah, like showing them you're not just there for any job. You're there because you genuinely love this field.
Okay. And I'm guessing they're going to have a follow-up question.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Be prepared for something like, what specifically drew you to clothing and footwear?
Right. Okay, so you've got to have that answer ready.
Yes, and that's where you can really showcase your knowledge.
Okay. Next up, what do you think are the most important qualities for success in the wholesale industry? I mean, I feel like they're looking for more than just generic answers here.
Oh, absolutely. They want to see if you understand what it takes to thrive in this role. We're talking communication, relationship building, market knowledge, negotiation skills.
Okay, so those are the power players. So don't just say, I'm a hard worker.
Right?
Back it up with specific examples.
Exactly.
Like a time you landed a tough client or negotiated a great deal.
Oh, yeah.
Show them you can walk the walk, not just talk the talk.
Okay, now let's talk strategy. RoleCatcher included this question. How do you go about identifying new wholesale opportunities?
Sounds like they're testing your initiative.
And your market awareness.
It's about showing them you're proactive.
Yeah.
And you're always thinking ahead. So don't just mention browsing websites or attending trade shows.
Right.
Talk about specific research methods you use, how you analyze market trends, and how you identify potential clients that are a perfect fit. Okay, so instead of saying, I read industry magazines, you'd say something like, I analyze sell-through rates for emerging brands to identify potential partnerships.
Exactly. Get specific. Show them you understand the language of wholesale.
And be ready for a follow-up question.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
How do you prioritize those opportunities?
Gotcha.
It's all about demonstrating that strategic thinking.
And this next question is all about relationships. How do you manage relationships with clients and suppliers? I imagine this is crucial in the world of wholesale.
Absolutely. It's a delicate balancing act. You're the link between those two parties. And you need to build trust. You need to build rapport on both sides.
Okay.
So highlight your communication skills, your ability to solve problems effectively, and your focus on keeping everyone happy.
So it's not just about closing deals.
Nope.
It's about building those long-term partnerships.
You got it.
I bet they like to throw a curveball in there too.
Oh, yeah. They might say something like, Tell me about a time you had a challenging client interaction and how you navigated it.
Well, that's a good one. Everyone loves a smooth ride, but it's how you handle those bumps in the road that really shows your character and your skills.
Hmm. Now let's talk about staying ahead of the curve, because in fashion, that's everything. RoleCatcher highlighted this question. How do you stay up to date on industry trends and developments?
Okay, so I'm picturing myself just rattling off all the fashion magazines I subscribe to.
Haha, well, that's important. They're looking for a deeper understanding.
Okay.
What are the trade publications you follow? Do you attend conferences or webinars? Are you active in online forums or professional associations?
So it's about showing that you're a lifelong learner,
Exactly.
someone who's genuinely invested in the field.
And be ready for that prove it question, they might ask. What's a recent trend in clothing and footwear that particularly interests you and why?
Okay, that's a good one.
This is your chance to showcase your passion and your knowledge.
All right, before we move on to the next set of questions, I want to circle back to RoleCatcher for a minute. We talked about how their AI can help tailor your application. But how does it actually work for interview prep?
Okay, so it's pretty amazing. You can actually type in your answers to these interview questions, and RoleCatcher's AI will analyze them.
Oh, wow.
It gives you feedback on whether your answers are clear, concise, and relevant to the question.
Okay.
It even helps you with things like tone and word choice.
That's so cool. So it's not just about having a good answer. It's about making sure you're conveying it in the most effective way possible.
Exactly. It's like having a personal editor for your interview responses.
That's such a valuable tool,
Mhm.
especially for anyone who gets nervous during interviews. It can really boost your confidence, knowing you've got that extra layer of support.
All right, are you ready to tackle some more questions?
I think so. Let's do it.
All right, let's go. Let's jump into a question that's all about the practical side of things. How do you manage inventory and ensure that products are in stock and available for purchase? You know, in the world of clothing and footwear.
Oh yeah, staying on top of inventory is crucial, especially with those like seasonal trends and fast-moving styles.
Exactly. It's a constant juggling act. And this question is
Yeah.
all about showing off those organizational skills and your understanding of inventory management systems. Don't just say you're organized.
Okay.
Talk about your experience with systems like, ERP or WMS.
Name dropping those systems
Yeah.
shows, the technical side of things. But how can you really stand out with this question?
Be ready with concrete examples. Think about specific metrics you've tracked, like sell-through rates or inventory turnover.
Yep.
Maybe share a story about a time you successfully anticipated a surge in demand or prevented a costly stock out.
Ooh, good one. It's all about showing them you can walk the walk.
Yeah.
Speaking of walking the walk, let's talk about negotiation. I'm guessing that's a key skill for a wholesale merchant.
Absolutely. RoleCatcher included this question. How do you negotiate pricing with clients and suppliers? And it's not just about being tough. It's about finding that sweet spot where everyone feels like they're getting a good deal.
Okay, so how do you convey that balance in an interview setting?
Talk about your approach,
Yeah.
the factors you consider, your ability to build rapport and trust. You want to show them that you're not just focused on winning at all costs, but on building those long-term partnerships.
So instead of saying, I'm a great negotiator,
Right.
you'd say something like, I focus on understanding both the client's and the supplier's needs to find a mutually beneficial solution.
Now you're talking. And be prepared for those follow-up questions that really test your negotiation skills.
Like what?
They might say, walk me through a time when you had to negotiate a particularly tough deal. What was your strategy and what was the outcome?
Okay, so that's where those real-life examples really come in handy. Show them you can handle those high-pressure situations.
Now let's talk about conflict resolution, because even the smoothest negotiations can hit a snag. RoleCatcher included this question. Can you describe a time when you had to resolve a difficult or contentious issue with a client or supplier?
Oh, this is a classic one.
Yeah.
They're trying to assess your problem-solving skills and your ability to stay calm under pressure.
You got it. And the key here is to use the STAR method.
STAR.
Situation, task, action, result.
Okay.
Set the scene, describe the challenge, outline the steps you took, and highlight the positive outcome. And most importantly,
Don't forget to mention what you learned from the experience.
exactly, that shows you're reflective and constantly growing. And be ready for the follow-up. How has this experience shaped your approach to conflict resolution? They want to see how you've applied those lessons learned.
Makes sense. This next question from RoleCatcher is all about strategy. How do you develop and execute a merchandising strategy? This feels like it goes beyond just selling. It's about understanding the market and the customer.
Absolutely. It's about being a visionary, a trendsetter. Talk about your approach to market research, how you analyze target audiences, and your process for selecting products that resonate with consumer demand. Don't just say you pick out clothes that look good.
Okay, right. So instead of saying, I have a good eye for fashion,
Right,
you'd
yeah.
say something like, I analyze current fashion trends and consider factors like demographics, price point, and brand identity to create a cohesive and profitable merchandising strategy.
Now you're talking. And be ready to share a concrete example. They might ask, walk me through a successful merchandising campaign you've implemented. What were the key elements and what were the results?
I love that. It's about showing them you've got the experience and the vision.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about leadership, even if this specific role doesn't involve directly managing a team. Leadership skills are super valuable
Oh,
across
yeah.
all industries. RoleCatcher included this question: how do you approach building and leading a team?
This could be a tricky one. If you haven't held like a formal management position,
The key is to focus on transferable skills. Talk about your leadership style, whether it's collaborative, results-oriented, or something else.
okay.
Share examples of times when you've taken initiative, motivated others, or provided guidance and support.
So even if you haven't been the boss,
Yeah,
you can still demonstrate leadership qualities.
exactly. Maybe talk about a time you led a project team or mentored a colleague.
Right. Makes sense.
And be honest about your strengths and weaknesses as a leader. They might even ask you directly, what are your strengths and weaknesses as a leader?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It is, but self-awareness is a key part of being a good leader.
True. Before we move on, I want to circle back to RoleCatcher. We talked about how their AI can analyze your written answers. But what about that video practice feature? How did that work?
It's like having a personal coach and a film crew all rolled into one. You can actually record yourself answering these interview questions, just like you would in a real interview.
Okay, that sounds a little intimidating, but I can see how it would be helpful. So you record yourself and then,
Their AI analyzes your video. It gives you feedback on things like your body language, your eye contact, even your tone of voice.
it's about like projecting confidence and professionalism.
Exactly. Those are essential for making a strong first impression.
That's so smart. It's like having a secret weapon to help you master those nonverbal cues. That can sometimes make or break an interview.
And the beauty of RoleCatcher is that it's all personalized. Their AI takes into account the specific job you're applying for, the company culture, even the interviewer's style, to give you the most tailored feedback possible.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. We've dissected those tough interview questions, explored those insightful follow-ups, and even talked about how RoleCatcher's AI can help you refine your answers and practice your delivery. I bet our listeners are feeling so much more prepared. All right, we're back for the final stretch of our deep dive into acing that wholesale merchant interview in clothing and footwear.
You know, we've talked a lot about interview skills, but before we wrap up, I think it's important to talk about the bigger picture, like the career itself.
Yeah, good point. What does a successful career path actually look like for someone in this role?
Well, the great thing about wholesale merchandising is that there are so many different avenues you can explore. You could climb the ladder within a company, maybe become a senior buyer, or even a merchandising manager.
Okay, so there's room for growth within a company.
Yeah.
What about like other options?
You could specialize in a particular product category, become like the go-to expert for, say, footwear or athletic wear.
Oh, that's cool.
Or you could even branch out and start your own wholesale business, connecting those independent designers and boutique brands with retailers.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So many possibilities. It's not just a one-size-fits-all career path.
Exactly.
What about those professional development opportunities we talked about earlier? How can someone really stand out
Yeah.
and show their commitment to the field?
Pursuing certifications, like the Certified Wholesale Professional Designation, the CWP,
Okay.
demonstrates your dedication to the industry. It shows potential employers that you're serious about your craft.
It's like a stamp of approval.
Right.
What about networking? How important is that in the world of wholesale?
It's essential. Building relationships is at the heart of this role.
Okay.
Attending industry events, connecting with people on LinkedIn. These are all valuable ways to expand your network and stay informed.
So it's not just about what you know. It's about who you know.
Exactly.
Speaking of getting noticed, I want to circle back to RoleCatcher one last time. We talked about how their AI can help you tailor your application and refine your interview answers. But what about actually connecting with potential employers?
Oh yeah, they have a feature that lets you opt in to be discoverable by employers who are searching for candidates with your specific skill set.
So it's like a reverse job board.
Yeah, basically the employers come to you.
That's incredible. It takes the pressure off of constantly applying.
Right.
Okay, I think we've covered just about everything. We went deep on those interview questions, explored those insightful follow-ups, and even talked about the career path itself, plus all those amazing tools and resources that RoleCatcher offers. What a journey.
Remember, thorough preparation is key to acing any interview. But it's not just about reciting facts or giving textbook answers. It's about showcasing your passion, your skills, and your personality.
So go into that interview with confidence, knowing that you've done your homework and that you have the tools and resources you need to shine. And even if this particular interview doesn't lead to your dream job, the skills and insights you've gained will be valuable. Never stop learning, growing, and striving for excellence.
And remember, the world of fashion is constantly evolving, so be curious, be adaptable, and most importantly, be yourself. Who knows, maybe someday you'll be the one setting those trends, and we'll be interviewing you for our deep dive.
That's a wrap. Best of luck in your interview. We're rooting for you.